Hey guys, it's John and Jackie of OpenLove101.com. We have some friends that we've known for quite a few years, and a couple of times over the years they've gone through some whatever issues that couples have, and they reach out to us, and they're in a strictly non-monogamous, very 110% vanilla relationship.
Monogamous relationship.
Yeah, monogamous. So not non-monogamous, they're monogamous. Yeah, very vanilla. And the fact that they call us sometimes to talk about what they're going through, we really enjoy talking to them. And we talk to them about our lifestyle. They know where Jackie and I are in a non-monogamous relationship, and we share, over the years we've shared some of the things that her and I have gone through, and maybe some of the issues we've had and how we've gotten through them. And what was interesting recently is they called us and talked about how they were using some of our open non-monogamous relationship techniques to help their relationship but maintaining a vanilla relationship. And it's really interesting. It kind of blew me away.
Yeah, it's interesting. She says, it's funny, we don't have an open relationship, but opening our relationship has changed our relationship. So I thought that was really, interesting. And when she talked to me, she was really referring to some of the intimacy issues that maybe they had been having. They've been married a really, really long time, and so they're kind of in this different stage of life in their relationship, and things have become really natural and routine and not mundane, but how you kind of get into a habit of doing things and
kind of in a rut.
Kind of. So, they had decided to kind of spice up the relationship by doing some things outside the box. And in doing so, it actually kind of surfaced some fear in one of our friends. And so because of that, it was touching on some issues that maybe had been hidden for a while. And so they needed a little bit of guidance on how to work through some of those fears. It's one thing to talk about your fantasies with your partner, and John and I talk about that a lot. Talk about your fantasies. But what we don't really touch on or haven't touched on is sometimes when you're talking about your fantasy, if John starts to say, I really fantasize about a voluptuous redhead. Well, I'm this tiny brunette, and if I'm not understanding what he's saying, I could take that really personal, like, oh, but I'm not this voluptuous redhead, so he must not love me because I don't fit this fantasy that he has. We forget sometimes that a fantasy is a fantasy. That's what makes it exciting.
And it doesn't mean that I wouldn't want to be with a redhead, but at the same time, it doesn't mean I want to leave Jackie for a redhead. I love Jackie and I love everything about her. And when we fantasize sometimes about variety, something a little bit different, it does not take anything away from her, what I have with her.
Wow.
But we can take it that way. And that's one of the things they were going through, and they were reaching out for our guidance on. And because it can be very easy to, remember, this is a vanilla couple we're talking about, and they're talking about some kind of fantasies, but these fantasies and this fantasy talk, it brought up some deep-seated old fears from both of them, and they're like, how do we get through this? And you were really helpful in helping them walk through that kind of stuff.
Well, I think we both were. I think, again, and John and I have said this before, it's about how we shift our focus of what's going on, how we shift our perspective, how we look at the positive of what's happened. When a fantasy is shared, like in this couple, and they're a long married couple, our fear will make us discount all the years we've been together, all of the things that we have built and fostered and done to deepen the relationship. As soon as something, like voluptuous redhead is brought to the surface, all of the years that we've been together goes out the window all of a sudden. So it's about being able to reel that in, and let's be realistic about what's going on. Mm-hmm. And is there really a danger? you know, when you start talking about things, you know, watching things together or experimenting on things together. Those are good things. Those are things you're doing together with your partner.
Oh, yes.
You know, it's not he's a bad person or I'm lacking in something because we're talking about these things or doing these things. These are ways to open up our relationship and take it to a completely different level so that we can see our partner in a new light.
It's so easy, I think, in a relationship to get into a rut and you just do the same things over and over and over again. And I know with us and with other couples I've seen, even outside of sex, just doing new things, you know, jumping on, renting some bicycles and going for a bike ride in the park, or going to a new park, or watching a different kind of movie that you haven't watched together before. Just so many different things you can do. And we're talking about, you know, in sexuality as well. I think, you know, rather than finding that Jackie's watching a certain kind of porn and being upset that, oh, why is she watching that? And, you know, letting the fear envelop me and shut me down. If I see her watching that, why don't I try and do something and maybe, you know, help her with her fantasy while we're sleeping together? You know, take that to the next level. Like, encourage that with you. If you enjoy it, encourage it, I think. I mean, that's I think, communicating, and that's how our relationship has really worked out so well.
Well, and it's about acceptance. It's about acceptance too. When we're talking with our partner, we're saying, you know, I want you to be open and honest with me, and let's talk about these things. You have to know how to be the recipient of those as well. And if we're wanting our partner to be this open, honest vessel, you know, we have to be prepared to be encouraging of that. There's nothing more loving. There's, you know, when I feel loved the most is when John is accepting of those things about me. And I know, like with this couple that we were helping recently, once she was able to target some of those deep-seated fears or insecurities that she had carried around with her, she found out, for a really, really long time, once we were able to unwrap it, look at it, and see that she's enough in the relationship, that she doesn't have to be in competition with anything, their relationship just kind of exploded and went to levels that they never expected. And that's why I say, you know, when they called us later and they're like, this is so amazing, we have like this, we don't have an open relationship, but opening our relationship through communication and trust and honesty has just taken it to a completely new level. And she says, we have talked about things and we are at a level that we've never been in before in the, you know, 20 some years that they've been together.
It's really a beautiful story, and it just goes to show you that you don't have to, well, the things that we talk about so often, communication, trust, honesty,
transparency,
those things need to work in a monogamous relationship as well. And if you can have those things, your relationship can really blossom. So
it can.
Yeah. Hey, so sign up on our email list at openlove101.com and we'll send you updates on our blogs and videos and other things. And we really enjoy talking to you guys.
See ya.
Great job, Jackie. And if you guys enjoyed that video, click on the subscribe button below and we'll send you plenty more.